Welcome. Scott here. Here is a quick boss guide for the upcoming World of Illusion Spiritus, Pandemonium event. This is the second fight in Global that feature the Spiritus level difficulty. The synergy units for the event are the returning Raines, Leila, Lulu, Emperor, Xande and Porom. Raines FR and Burst will be making their debut. Both Raines and Xande will be getting C90 reworks. All featured units will be getting their force enhancement boards unlocked. We will be fighting the Ancient Guard Spiritual. The boss has 200 million HP. It is accompanied by 2 Gaia Power which has 10 million HP each. All enemies are weak against wind. To achieve the S grade in Spiritus Clear, you need to defeat the stage within 65 turns. The HP requirements is 10,000. Before I continue further, here is a small disclaimer clause for the video. The guide is written based on the time that the event was released for the Japanese version. Please do note that it is possible that the boss fight mechanics might differ when the actual event is released in Global. Before I continue on to the boss mechanics, let's talk a bit about the Spiritus score system. As you fulfill the milestones, you will get a grade. The ultimate reward of the stage is to get a grade S. For any Spiritus fight, you cannot bring any friend support for the fight. Now I proceed to talk about the key thresholds that you need to watch out for the fight. At the start of the fight, the boss will gain stats boost like other Shinryu or Lufania fights. When you reach 89% HP threshold, the boss will activate the phase healing increased where it will start to emit a green aura. It will use wounds are healed by the healing power on the following turn, which cleanse all debuffs and heals 10% of the Ancient Guard's max HP which equates to 20 million. So you need to avoid that by denying the boss a turn till the green aura wears off. The green aura will dissipate once you lower the boss HP to 79%. Achieving this point will nav you grade D for the stage. Between the 59% to 20% HP thresholds, the boss will enter into the Gathering Earth Power phase. Upon entering the phase, the boss will destroy any surviving Gaia Power and revives them. They will gain 150% HP damage resistance against all attacks except for chain attack in launches. Chain attacks are the HP attack that you can do while in mid-air during launches. Cid Raines is an MVP for the stage because of his additional impact strike plus trigger during the launch phase. Avoid going 10 consecutive actions before Ancient Guard gets its turn. Doing so will result the boss to enter into its hardened defenses state where it will start to emit the yellow aura and gains 999% brave damage resistance along 9999% HP damage resistance for a turn. You can only do damage past the aura with true HP damage effect or summon. To let the aura wear off, you need to give the boss a turn. If you destroyed both Gaia Power, the boss will lower HP damage resistances by 150% effectively cancel the 150% HP damage resistance. You will end this phase when you reach 19% HP threshold. Achieving this point will nav you grade C for the stage. At the 19% HP threshold, the boss will enter into its last phase called Let's Survive This. The boss will gain immunity to delay and turn deletion. It will also reduce HP damage by 400% except for chain attack in launches. While in this phase, the boss will be spamming Forest Press Plus till the end of the fight. Forest Press Plus is a double AoE Brave plus HP attack that inflicts 2-turn paralysis. The attack will ignore all HP or Brave damage nullification effects. If you fail to clear the fight within 101 turns, you end the fight with grade B. If you clear the fight between 66 turns to 100 turns, you will get grade A. If you clear the fight at 65 turns or less, you will get the grade S score. If you don't have a good party setup or Raines, be prepared for a rough task to meet the S grade criteria as you need to kill off a 200 million HP boss within 65 turns. It is doable without Raines, but it will be very challenging to do it. As we are no longer have Lufania Plus fights, the boss guide will be focused primarily on Shinryu fights. In Shinryu, you need to understand the effects gained by the boss as the force gauge build up, its force ability and its force time effect. As your party has low force levels at the start of the era, it is highly certain that the boss force gauge will build up faster than yours. To have a better understanding on the basics of the force gauge mechanics and Shinryu fights, I have done a video explaining the mechanics. I have included the link to the video under the comments and video description for your quick reference. For this fight, there is no gauge thresholds. Throughout the fight, the boss force gauge will increase by 1% whenever your party member acts. The boss will also resist 100% brave damage resistance against all melee and ranged attacks. The boss force gauge will build up faster as its HP is lowered. You can refer to the table on the screen for the percentages. At the 100% threshold, the boss will use its force ability, Forest Press +++, and activates its force time for 10 turns. The boss force ability, Forest Press +++, will result the boss to recover from break, deals an AoE melee brave plus HP attack. It will inflict 2 frame debuffs, 100% max brave down debuff and 100% HP damage down debuff for 5 turns. The boss will also grant itself the Gaia Power framed buff, which gives its 50% HP damage up along with 50% speed up for 5 turns. Upon using the force ability, the boss will enter into its force time where the gauge will start to emit a red hue with a counter of 10 on its gauge. When the force time is activated, the bosses will gain an enhancement that grants it a post-turn brave regen that equates to 100% of its max brave. To cancel the enemy's force time, you need to use a magic force ability that initiate a launch, which is Raines FR. Any magic attacking FR with a launch utility will also meet the condition. Launch utility includes the following: Raines LDCA, Kai's Hero Support Buff, Self-Rapture Debuff. If you time it correctly, you can also trigger an innate launch once you deal enough brave damage to make the boss launchable. Firstly, let's discuss the basic move set for the bosses that we will be fighting in the stage. Let's start off with the partner in crime, the 2 Gaia Power sub-bosses. They have 10 million HP each and they are weak against wind. They will resist HP damage by 150% except for chain attack in launches. Whenever they get a turn, they will do a single target, Magic Brave plus HP attack. The attack will ignore HP nullification effects and will delay the target by a turn. You will start off fighting 2 of these at the start of the fight. Upon reaching the 59% HP threshold, they will be destroyed and revived back to max HP. Killing them off after the 59% HP threshold will grant a bonus that lowers the boss defenses, which you will deal 150% more on your HP damage. Let's proceed to cover on the main boss, the Ancient Guard. It will start off using Forest Press, an AoE melee brave plus HP attack. Next it will follow up with Ground Spikes, which is a single target ranged brave plus HP attack. Lastly, it will use Ancient Eyes, which is an AoE brave attack that inflicts the following debuffs: attack -50%, defense -50%, and speed -50% for 3 turns. After that it will revert back to Forest Press. The boss will always be using this rotation throughout the entire fight until the 19% HP threshold, where it will be spamming Forest Press plus till it dies. Like other Spiritus stage, the boss will gain auras at the start of the fight. It will gain the standard 80% brave damage and 80% brave gains reduction auras. It will boost its defense stats by 150%, raises its max brave cap to 150k along doubles its brave damage cap. At the 89% HP threshold, it will enter into the healing increased phase. You will start to see green hexagon shaped aura appearing on the boss. To cancel the aura, you need to lower the boss HP to 79%. If you failed to do so and allow the boss to take a turn before the 79% HP threshold, it will use Wounds Are Healed by Healing Power, where it will cleanse all debuffs and restores 10% of its max HP, which equate to 20 million HP. Triggering this will most likely result that you unable to achieve S-grade score for the fight. Upon lower the boss to 59% HP threshold, you will enter into the earthen power increasing phase. Once you reach the threshold, the boss will kamikaze any surviving Gaia Power sub-boss and resummon new ones. All enemies will also gain 150% HP damage resistance except for chain attacks in a launch phase. Starting from this phase, you can activate additional special conditions. Let's start off the negative one, the Hardened Defenses aura. There will be an in-game warning message: if you act 10 times in a row, the defenses will strengthen. If you act 10 times in a row before the Ancient Guard acts, the boss will gain a yellow streaking aura that grants it 999% brave damage resistance and 9999% HP damage resistance. The aura will only be dispelled until the next boss turn. Like standard succession turns mechanics, calls, burst and summon phase won't add to the turn count. So do be mindful of that. On the positive side, if you manage to kill off the revived Gaia Power, the boss will give great, let's reward phase where it will lower its HP damage resistance by 150%. Effectively, this will cancel out the HP damage immunity that it gains at the start of the phase. At the 19% HP threshold, you will reach the last phase. The boss will emit a dull red aura and its CTB gauge will be framed where it gains immunity to delay and turn deletion. However, you can still delay it with breaks. From this point onwards, it will stop using its standard attack rotation and focus primarily on spamming Forest Press Plus. Forest Press Plus is a double melee AoE Brave plus HP attack and it can inflict 2-turn paralysis. All Brave hits and HP damage will ignore Brave and HP nullification effects. In other words, to minimize the damage, it is either you evade them or freeze the boss Brave gains. The aura will also result the boss gain a nasty 400% HP damage resistance to all HP damage except for chain attacks in a launch phase. You can see the image screenshot that I have taken on the right side of the screen. From this point onwards, in order to deal damage to the boss, you need to constantly trigger launches. Do note that the launcher's HP damage will be resisted as well even you have close to max force time HP damage bonus. Other than launches, the other ways to bypass the damage resistance is using either your Spiritus summon phase or deploying true HP damage buff. Units that have true HP damage buff at the moment are Lunafreya, Tifa, General Leo and then Cred. Now let's recap on the stage mechanics. Throughout the fight, you will be facing 100% brave damage resistance to melee and ranged attacks. So, it is advisable to bring a magic-oriented team for the fight unless you have mechanics that bypass the brave damage resistance. From the Japanese videos that I watched so far, there isn't a lot of melee units used in the fight other than Tifa or Snow. Even wind enchant melee units like Dorgan are not being used for the fight. The recommended FR ability to use is Raines. You can cancel the boss force time with a magic FR that triggers a launch with a launch utility like Raines LDCA or Self-Rapture debuff. Other magic FR units that you can consider to bring are Lunafreya, Charlotta, Celis, Renoa, Cloud of Darkness and Vaughn. As a general rule of thumb, you can make any Shinryu or Spiritus easier as long as you can gain access your force time before the boss gains access to theirs. Force chargers are very valuable for this fight and most of the better ones are mainly magic units. You can consider bring Selfa, Hope, Braska, Aerith, Lunafreya or Charlotta. As this is going to be an endurance fight and you will most probably need to use at least 2 FR phases, so bringing a force charger will help a lot. Launches is a very important utility needed for the fight. You can bring units that helps to trigger launches easier like Raines and Selfa. Even the fight features melee resist. Tifa is still being used a lot for this fight but with assistance of Kate Sith LDCA or Charlotta BT Aura. As the fight features lot of HP damage ignore effects, it is important to bring adequate healing for the party like Porom, Hope, Braska, Minwu and Aerith. You can also use off-turn damage setup for the first phase with Emperor, Minwoo, Beatrix before going hammering the boss before you breach the 59% HP threshold. I have listed down 3 useful calls that could help for this fight. They are Raines LDCA, Kate Sith LDCA and Leo LDCA. To skip past the boss' most annoying mechanics, my personal recommendation is to trigger your burst phase right before you trigger the 59% HP threshold. From there, you just need to do a burst phase that damages between 82 million to 90 million total HP damage to end the fight. It is doable to solo the fight with the Shiryu solo Queen Celis, but you need some luck, patience, and Raines LDCA. Celis will need to be fully geared and equipped a maxed greatsword Ultima weapon. Before I proceed to the last slide of the guide, let's do a quick overview on the FR of the featured unit, Cid Raines. His FR pulls up his allies similarly to his LD. You will get the following HP damage bonus with party members to participate in launches, 20% per ally who joins, and party members to start a launch, 30% if Raines starts one, 20% for anyone else. To optimize Raines FR, you will need Lunafreya LDCA for these rotations or using Lunfreya Friend for the quick prayer buff. So, ideally you will want Raines to launch during his force time, as he will gain 90% as Raines starting a launch, and joining a launch with his impact strike plus gets extra bonus. Any allies who initiate launch can get up to 60%. Which is very likely to happen, as even with consecutive turns from Lunafreya's quick prayer will be interrupted when Raines brings his allies up. The Dragoons, Cain or Freya, can't be brought up while in the air, which can help Raines set up his force time. To optimize his FR damage, and considering that his burst effect lasts only 6 turns and being unable to launch, it can make setting up Raines' force time a bit clunky. There are 2 types of rotation that you can opt for. The first rotation is BT Finisher, Lunafreya LDCA, Raines FR. 2 allies will take their turn and Raines initiate his BT phase for the remaining 8 turns of force time. The second rotation is using Lunafreya LDCA, Raines FR. 2 allies take turn, Raines use his BT finisher and follow by going into his burst phase to use all 7 turns of the remaining force time. If one of the party members is Cain or Freya who is in mid-air, you will have 8 turns of force time where you can use the last turn to abuse a Spiritus summon nuke. That said, Raines' on-turn damage is nutty high in his burst phase. You will probably get to 11 to 14 single target HP attacks with BT effect active, so any FR with high bonuses or FRS that can be passed off with a high bonus can still make use of Raines' enormous damage. You do not need to sacrifice a turn of his BT effect, as you could use his BT finisher into BT phase with this strategy. However, you still want to get the FR, as it's a giant attack for the final turn of his burst phase under FR time. Other than Freya, Cain, and launch batteries, Core is a notable ally for Raines, as Core's linked attack is boosted by wall damage on launches. We have come to the last slide of the guide. For every Spiritus fight, there are ticket challenge mission. For the Pandemonium Spiritus event, the 3 challenges are: 1. Ticket Challenge 1. Bring a team that consists of green, yellow, or white crystal units. 2. Ticket Challenge 2. Bring a team that consists of rod, fist, or unique weapon users. 3. Ticket Challenge 3. Bring a team that is from one of the 3 following series: Final Fantasy II, Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XIII. Do note that you don't need bring a team to meet the exact criteria. Bringing a full Final Fantasy XIII series team of Raines, Snow, and Hope will meet the series challenge and Crystal Color challenge. Bringing team of Atifa, Lunafreya, and Charlotta will meet the Crystal Colors challenge and Weapon Type challenge. On the screen you can see a table showing the list of units that you can consider for the challenge. Do note that the challenge is a bit tougher to do without the featured FR unit, Cid Raines. Don't worry too much if you are unable to clear it when the event is released. You can still get enough Spiritus keys to claim all treasures in the stage by clearing other missions. Lots of JP players did it with future FRBT units like Seymour, Yuna, and Sarah for this stage. With this, I have come to the end of my boss guide presentation. Hopefully you find it useful. You can find a link to the fight infographic and PDF guide in the video description and comments. If you like the video, please give a like. Please subscribe to my channel for future gaming content. Good luck for the fight tomorrow. Bye.